All right, hello everyone. I wanted to give some solutions for the 1.2 check. That's my fault. I don't think I clicked on the setting where you can see the correct answers. And so I just wanted to go over these for you before your first quiz tomorrow. All right, so number one, given this figure, all right, it says name two segments shown in the figure. So this could be a lot of answers, right? This could be AN, NA, NM, MN, NC, CN, NX, XN, or NR, RN. So any of those, I'm sorry if I went through that kind of quickly. Um, I know you weren't able to do this on Google Form, but since we're talking about segments, you need to make sure that you have a little bar above the two letters, right? You can even do it this way, okay? One thing that I wanted to emphasize and clarify is, the first letter represents where you're starting, and the second letter represents where you're going. Okay, I'll just add in a few more here. We could do, you could even do MC, right? You could do it that way if you want. You could do RN, etc., etc. Okay. What's the intersection of lines CM, right? And just a quick review, right? Since we're talking about lines, that's going to be this notation, right, with the arrows, okay? The intersection of lines CM and RN, that's going to be point N, right? Point N, okay? Now you can write the word point, right? You can write it like this, or if you want to just write the letter N, that's fine, okay? But that's where the two lines intersect and meet at point N. All right. Number three says name three collinear lying on the same line points. Collinear means 3 points that are on the same line, right? You could do points A, N, and X. All right. Generally, you want to put it in order. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying N, A, and X like that, right? But generally, you want to go in the direction of a line, okay? You could do um, C, N, and M, all right? And I would argue, and I don't think anyone did this, and this might come up later. Um, Now, even though it doesn't look like it in the drawing, right? Um, Actually, I'm going to retract that last statement, all right? This is it, right? So this is where I'm going to stop with these, okay? Number four, okay, using the same figure. Are the points R, N, M, and X coplanar? Remember, coplanar means on the same plane. All right, R, N, M, and X. R, N, M, and X. I would say no. Okay, no. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a no, right? R, N, M, and X. Okay. Because you kind of have to, think about N, M, and X are think of this sheet, think of this figure as like a sheet of paper, and R, M, and X are lying flat on that sheet of paper, and point R is kind of a point hovering above that sheet of paper, if that makes sense. Okay. If I were to like connect the dots, let's say I'm sorry, N to X to M, but then you'd have to kind of go up into space, if you will, all right, for this point R. So it is not on the same plane. If it was just N, M, and X, then yes, that would be on the same plane. Okay? If it was R, N, and M, that could be coplanar because then X would be the odd one out. Okay? But in terms of these four specific points, it is not coplanar. Number five says name two rays shown in the figure. Um, for a ray notation, it's kind of like a segment, but with an arrow. And so you pick an endpoint, let's say M, and to C, right? So it starts at M and it goes not to C and finishes, but it hits C and goes beyond it. That's why it's array. Okay. Another one here could be R and this way, right? You could even do starting at N, going to R, right? A couple other ones there as well. Number 6, name the pair of opposite rays with endpoint N. All right. So sharing the endpoint N, you have one going to NA in that direction, right? And also NX, all right? Okay, now this is just notation, all right? And I've seen this happen in the past. You should not be doing something like this, okay? Like a left arrow, because it starts at N and goes in this left direction towards A. That doesn't mean that the notation flips, okay? The notation for an array is always to the right, this way, okay? All right, number 7. This 7, 8, 9 was the never, sometimes, always. GH and HG are the same ray. I would argue that is going to be never, right? Remember, the first letter represents where you're starting, and the second letter represents where you're going, right? So if it's GH, right, and H is over here, you're starting at G and you're going this way, okay? It's about the direction, all right? And then for the other one, if you start at H and you're going towards G, okay, I don't think that's the same ray, okay? For number 8, Ji and Jl are opposite rays. That is sometimes, okay? Okay, because Ji could be like this, and JL could be like this, right? That's one option. But what if you had something like this? The mouse isn't working. All right, so what if you had JI the same way, JI, right? But then you had JL, something like this, right? These are not opposite rays, okay? They're different rays, but they're not opposite, okay? Number 9, a plane contains only 3 points. I would say that sometimes, right? Remember, the definition of a plane is it's coplanar if there are 3 points or more, okay? So the word only makes it sometimes true. And I think this is the last of it, these last 5 here, using this figure. The intersection of planes ABP and BCD, right? So you got to really look at it kind of carefully and visually here. ABP, so it looks like, well, depending on how you're seeing it actually, I'm seeing it as the back end, right? ABP, and BCD looks like the top, right? So ABP, this plane, right, this flat side, and the BCD, this flat rectangle up here, it looks like they intersect at segment AB. Okay, they said, oops, sorry about that. They intersect at AB. Okay, lines RQ and RO, or segments, I suppose, RQ and RO, right, intersect at point R. Okay. Planes, um, planes ADR and DCQ. So ADR and DCQ, I believe, intersect at segment DR. Right? ADR, this side here, okay, and DCQ, okay, intersect at the segment DR. Okay. Right? planes BCD, again the top one, and BCQ. BCQ, that's that other side, right? That intersects at where? BCD and BCQ at segment BC. All right. Lines OP and QP intersect at point P. Okay. All right. So generally here, let's look at 10, 12, and 13. When you're talking about the intersection of two planes, right, two planes always intersect at a line segment or a line. Okay. Numbers 11 and 14, when you're looking at two lines or two line segments, those will always intersect at a single point. Okay, so those are key ideas to maybe think about and try to remember. Okay, all right, hope that was helpful. I was going through your responses and there were some incorrect answers, and so that's why I wanted to provide this video, and hopefully that helped.